In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 fun Football Manager save ideas that you can try out at home now that Football Manager 2022 is out. But before we go any further, if I could ask you please to hit that subscribe button down below with notifications on so you don't miss out on more in future, as well as experiments and my Leicester City playthrough too. Now, the first save idea I have for you is coincidentally with Football Manager partners Watford FC, who have recently just been promoted to the Premier League once again, as I'm sure you're well aware. They're a bit of a yo-yo club, and they have been in recent years, going through 18 managers in 13 years. Can you be the person to bring that stability back to the club? I can't even get the word stability out. There are plenty of players at the club already with that experience that's required to stay in the Premier League, to solidify their place as a Premier League club before kicking on. Players such as Josh King, Tom Cleverley, Danny Rose, Musa Sissoko, players that have been there before and done it. And how could I not talk about this man too? Ben Foster, he's been there and done it. A very, very solid Premier League goalkeeper, even at his age. The cycling GK. Seemingly just a lovely, lovely man too. Why would you not want to manage him? But in addition to those experienced Premier League players, there are also exciting young talents in Ismail Assar, Emmanuel Dennis and João Pedro, who will be key to your success at Watford in not only solidifying them as a Premier League club, but carrying them up the table too, and maybe even doing a Leicester City and going on and winning the league. I can vouch for this lad, by the way. Absolutely brilliant by Newcastle United save on the last Football Manager. However, unfortunately, you will not have much room to manoeuvre in the first transfer window, that is unless you sell players with a starting budget of just 2 million and a wage budget of 30k available, so you might have to make use of that free agent market and the loan market too, as I said, unless you can shift some of the dead weight on. And in true Lollujo fashion, you could also go for a bit of a non-league to legend style save with Wrexham AFC, obviously now famously owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. I think I've said his name right. It's a tough one. Hollywood actors, Hollywood stars who've recently taken over. They're going to pump money into the club down the line, you would think. It makes for a very, very exciting save and a very, very long-term save too. For the National League, they have a pretty decent budget of £250,000 with nearly £5,000 left to spend in the wage budget too. Again, free agents, there's plenty of them to pick up, and loan signings too, with a decent squad for their Division 2 as things stand. As you can see, guys like Paul Mullen, James Jones, Aaron Hayden and Ben Tozer, formerly on the books for Newcastle United, already there, giving you a good base to start on. As well as this man, Devonte Redmond. Now, you might look at that and think he's a bang average player. What's his significance? I once signed him when I was managing Wrexham. Before he signed for them in real life, when I was doing this sort of save, I took them, not to sound like Jay Cartwright, from the National League to the Championship. Not that impressive, I know, but decent in about 5 seasons, maybe 6 seasons. So, I lay down the gauntlet to you. Can you do better than that? Can you go even further? A club with decent facilities for their level too. A ground with already 10,500 capacity. Good basis to go off of going forward into the Football League. And of course, they are based in Wales, so that makes it even a bit more exciting. You can do it for a bootlegger and take Wrexham up the leagues, where it's sure to be very, very tasty against the English sides.
My spidey senses tell me!
AC Milan, another valid option for a good fun Football Manager save, perhaps one for the more short-term players if you don't fancy taking Wrexham up to the Premier League, for example. But I don't need to go through all the fine details of AC Milan. You know their history. 7 times European Cup / Champions League winners. However, they have not won a league title since 2011. That's 10 years now. And Inter Milan have just gone and done it. Their biggest rivals. AC Milan finished second to them last season. That must have made it hurt even more. They've not even won the Coppa Italia since 2003. It's been a painful few years for AC Milan fans. However, at AC Milan, you do have a very, very good squad, as at time of recording they sit second in the Serie A. Players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who seems to be aging like a fine wine, available to spearhead the attack. with the experienced Olivier Giroud ready in the wings too, and the younger but possibly more exciting talent Raphael Leao, only 22 years of age, got a lot of room to grow. You've got a lot of attacking options, with midfielders such as Ismail Benasser, Franck Kessie, Timu Bakayoko, and of course Football Manager wonderkid Sandro Tonali. There is a great spine to work with there at AC Milan in place already. However, you also have nearly £16 million available to you to spend on transfers, obviously before you get rid of any deadwoods too. It could be a very, very fun one, this. However, you do have just 26 grand available in the wage budget to start with. But with days gone by of players such as Andrea Pirlo and Kaká, can you replicate that former AC Milan side and go on to make them giants in Europe once again? Similarly to AC Milan, Partizan Belgrade recently finished second to their closest rivals. So could this be the save for you, with them having a little bit of a wait since their last Serbian Super League title too, last winning it in 2017. And although it is similar to the AC Milan save, it is perhaps for those who are looking for a little bit more of a long-term save, as you can then, once you've toppled eternal derby rivals Red Star Belgrade, you can then try and put Serbia on the map in Europe, with Partizan previously having reached the European Cup final in 1966, although they did finish runners-up. Can you take them one step further, perhaps? You'll have players such as Lazar Markovic, obviously formerly of Liverpool, at your disposal. Still very, very talented, especially at the level they're currently at. And Israeli athlete Bibars Nacho, who is currently captain of the national team, I believe, and will of course be familiar to any Scots watching, given the fact we play them all the time, it seems, right now. You will have to contend with perhaps a not so generous transfer budget of 1.58 million, again before selling deadwood players, but there is 16k available in that wage budget, which at this level is very, very decent, and it gives you a little bit of room to work with. Last but not least, however, is the oldest association football club in Scotland, and the oldest in the world outside clubs from England and Wales. They're sponsored by Iron Brew. It's Queen's Park, a very, very historic club in Scotland, having won the Scottish Cup 10 times and also finishing runners-up in the FA Cup twice, having been invited down to play. However, they have not played in the top flight in Scotland since 1958, this largely being due to their amateur status in the game. However, they have recently gone professional, giving more leeway for signing better players and of course being able to keep a hold of them too. Players such as Simon Murray, perhaps formerly of Dundee United, amongst many others who've played at a much higher level, including Grant Gillespie, previously of Hamilton Academical, recently relegated to the Championship. Luca Connell on loan from Celtic too, believed to have a pretty bright future there, as well as decent players at this level such as Jai Tongo, Peter Grant, Lee Kildare as well, previously of Morton. There is a very, very good squad there. They've previously won League 2 last season, and they are currently sitting top of League 1. Can you carry the Spiders up the table into the Scottish Premiership perhaps? I don't know why I stuttered there. And topple Glasgow Giants, as much as it pains me to say it, Celtic and Rangers, and say, hey, there's a new club in town, that being Queen's Park. Ironic saying they're new given they're the oldest club in Scotland. But you knew what I meant. For a long, long time, football in Scotland has been dominated by Celtic and Rangers, taking up most of the major honours. Can you take Queen's Park from League 1 now that they're a professional club? Obviously, used to play at Hampden for a century. They're historic. Can you make them more relevant in the Scottish game? Let me know in the comments down below if you decide to do so and how you get on. But there we have it. There are 5 safe suggestions for you to try out. Please do let me know if you try out any of them, in fact, and let me know how you get on. Always interested to find out how other people get on. Yes, I'm a nerd, I know. I hope you have found this useful though. If you have though, please do leave a like on the video to let me know. You can subscribe also with notifications on so you don't miss out on more like this in future, as well as experiments and my Leicester playthrough save on the beta, which I suggest you check out now. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. I hope to see you soon.